You wake up, you know what you should do, but you don't do it. Not because you're lazy, not because you lack discipline, but because somewhere along the way, you stopped recognizing yourself. And now, every goal feels hollow. Every plan feels borrowed. Every step forward feels like you're wearing someone else's shoes. You've felt it before. That strange heaviness, where every task feels like you're moving through water. You set goals. You write them down. You make elaborate plans. You tell yourself, this time will be different. But when it's time to act, nothing happens. And here's the cruel part. You want it. You want to care. You look at other people who seem to move through life with purpose, and you wonder what's wrong with you, but the signal never reaches your body. The gap between intention and action grows wider every day. Psychologists call this motivational discordance. It's what happens when your current actions are misaligned with your core sense of self. Your brain is designed to act in service of identity. This isn't philosophical. It's neuroscience. When you know who you are, really know, motivation becomes automatic. It's not something you have to manufacture. It flows from you like breath. But when that identity becomes fractured or borrowed, when you're living according to someone else's blueprint, your brain hesitates because deep down, it doesn't believe the story you're telling. Your limbic system, the ancient emotional core of your brain, can smell inauthenticity from a mile away, and it refuses to invest energy into a future it doesn't recognize. Let's be clear about something. You are not broken. You are not uniquely flawed. You are not the only person who feels this way. What you're experiencing is a feature of human psychology, not a bug. Your brain is simply protecting you. From what? From becoming someone you don't recognize, from chasing goals that were never truly yours, from building a life that looks successful on the outside, but feels empty on the inside. Psychologist Carl Rogers called it incongruence. The gap between your actual self and your ideal self, between who you are and who you think you should be. The wider that gap, the harder it becomes to act, because every action requires energy. And your brain, your beautiful, protective brain, will not invest energy into a future it doesn't believe in. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. Your brain is trying to tell you something. The question is, are you listening? Let me show you what's happening inside your mind. Your brain has two major systems competing for control. The limbic system, ancient, emotional, identity-driven. It's been with humans for millions of years. It kept your ancestors alive. And the prefrontal cortex, logical, planning, future-focused. This is the newer part. The part that can imagine tomorrow. When these systems agree, you feel aligned. Motivation flows naturally. You don't have to force it. But when they disagree, paralysis. Here's why. Your limbic system doesn't care about your to-do list. It doesn't care about productivity metrics. It doesn't care about what your parents want, or what society expects, or what your Instagram feed suggests success should look like. It only cares about one thing: survival through coherence. And coherence means consistency with who you believe you are. This is rooted in self-determination theory, developed by psychologists Edward Deci and Richard Ryan. They spent decades studying what truly motivates human beings, and they discovered that humans have three core psychological needs. Autonomy, the need to feel in control of your own choices, not to be controlled by external forces. Competence, the need to feel effective and capable, to see yourself making progress, to feel like you matter. Relatedness, the need to feel connected to something meaningful, something bigger than yourself. When your goals satisfy these needs, motivation is intrinsic. It comes from within. You don't need external rewards. You don't need someone standing over you. But when your goals are imposed by society, family, algorithms, comparison, your limbic system rejects them. Not consciously. You won't even notice it happening, but quietly, subtly, through procrastination, through distraction, through brain fog, through apathy. This is called amotivation in psychology, a state where the brain withdraws investment because it senses a threat to identity integrity. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how you can spend hours doing something you love, something that aligns with who you really are, and not feel tired at all? But 15 minutes of doing something that feels inauthentic and you're exhausted? That's not laziness. That's your brain saying, this isn't us. You're not unmotivated. You're self-protecting. So how do you reconnect? How do you close the gap between who you are and what you do? Not through force, not through discipline alone, not through another productivity hack or morning routine, but through re-identification, through remembering, through honest excavation of who you actually are beneath all the conditioning. Here are 5 principles grounded in psychology, not theories, not motivational fluff, but real evidence-based practices that can help you find your way back to yourself. Most of what you think you want, you don't actually want. Let that sink in. You've internalized someone else's definition of success, their timeline, their metrics, their vision of what a good life looks like. And your brain knows it. Your brain can tell the difference between authentic desire and borrowed ambition. This is called introjection in psychodynamic theory. When you adopt external values without truly integrating them into your sense of self, you swallow them whole, without chewing, without digesting, and they sit inside you like stones. Ask yourself and be brutally honest. If no one ever knew about this goal, would I still pursue it? If no one could see, if there were no Instagram posts, no status updates, no one to impress, would you still want this? If the answer is no, you found the disconnection. And that's okay. That's not failure. That's clarity. Identity isn't invented. It's remembered. It's excavated. Think back to who you were before the world told you who to be. What fascinated you as a child? What made you lose track of time? What did you care about before caring became complicated? Before you learned that some interests were worthless? Before you learned that some dreams were unrealistic? Psychologist Dan McAdams calls this your narrative identity. The story you tell yourself about yourself is not just memory, it's meaning. When that story is authentic, behavior flows. Choices become clear. You don't have to force yourself. When it's rewritten by external forces, you stall, you hesitate, you second guess everything. Reconnect with your original narrative, not to relive the past, not to become a child again, but to rediscover the through line, the thread that's always been there, the part of you that's always been consistent, even when everything else changed. Here's the shift that changes everything. Stop asking, what do I want to achieve? Start asking, who do I want to become?